From the great outdoors to worship and social media, our next guest is now stepping into the music scene. On this week's Spotlight Music Series, let's welcome influencer, model, and now singer Payne. Cam, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
And so you have made a name for yourself outside of music. Tell me a little about that.
Yes, ma'am. I honestly, back in 2021, I was never really big on social media. I never had social media. I was never, I don't know, I guess I never cared about it. And then my sister, actually, she told me to post a TikTok on TikTok and get the app. And so I did. And honestly, like from there, it's just kind of one video after another just kind of blew up. Mm-hmm. And I was so like shocked by it. But you know, I put in, I guess, the work, and I'm so thankful for it. But now it's been so beautiful. It's been such a ride. The Lord has just blessed me more than I could ever have possibly imagined. So, yeah. And
so you were doing social media full time. Did you also have a job at the time?
Yes, ma'am, I did. I actually was a transportation manager out of college. I got a job in logistics. I graduated with a supply chain management degree, and it was nice. It was a good job, but I think at that same time I was, you know, coming home, I was working 5 to 5 p.m. every day, and then coming home 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. working on social media. And it got to a point where it was like, okay, you know, it's getting like a lot. Mm-hmm. And my work was becoming 2 full-time jobs in one. I was working basically 24 hours a day. I was always on call for my one job, my corporate job. And I decided one day, I just prayed to the Lord. I was like, God, like, take this away from me. Whatever you want me to do, show me the path. Show me which way you want me to take. And one day, he literally broke me down to tears. I was sitting in my truck. I just pulled into my apartment complex, and it was just the most beautiful thing. It was like, it was either you had to stop your corporate job and walk away from it and pursue social media full time, or pursue your corporate job and walk away from social media. And that time in the truck, the Lord was just like, it's social media. Like you can go, like you're free. You can walk away from it. So I walked away from my corporate job in June of 2022. Mm-hmm.
And that has all worked out for you?
Yes, ma'am. It's been the best thing I've ever possibly could have imagined.
Mm-hmm. So just in these few short minutes, you know, faith is obviously very prominent in your life. Yes, and how has that really influenced you now, jumping in, like dipping your toes in the music world? How has he been present in that?
I think it has shown a different level of trust in the Lord in my walk with Christ, honestly, because it's like, I have no idea sometimes what I'm doing. Some days it's like, man, you know, I don't even know what direction I'm going in, but then I'm like, you know, God's got this. Like, the Lord has got my hand, He's got my heart, He's got my mind, He's got my soul. So as long as I let Him lead every aspect of my life, then, you know, it's gonna be what He wants it to be. So I've fully come to terms with what God's plan is. I want that. I don't want my own desires, and I want Him to have my heart. So He's got it.
So tell me about this song, I Was.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me about it.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot to tell about that, but the long story short, I met Jess back in October of 2023, and she asked me to be in a music video of hers for another song, Hold On To Me, and I was like, sure, like, why not? Let's do it. So we did it. I was a love interest in that one, and that was great. And I told them actually at that shoot, I love to sing, and they kind of heard me sing like a bit of a song, and they were like, okay, this kid kind of has sort of a voice. So it was really wild. This was January 28th of 2024, this year. I remember that day because it was crazy. I called one of my friends and I was like, man, I've done so much cool stuff. Like, it's been awesome up to this point, but I just feel like the Lord is really preparing my heart for something a lot bigger. And I don't know what that is, but I just feel it. 12 hours later, Dean Sams, one of the musicians in the band Lone Star, gave me a call that morning and was like, hey, I was just thinking about you, and I'd love to like see if you wanted to be on a song. I was like, well, oh my goodness, like, are you serious? Absolutely, let's do it. And he came back with me the next day after that shoot and said, hey man, I couldn't sleep last night. I was thinking about this. I wrote a whole new song. Here's what it is. It's called I Was, and it's all about your life, loving the Lord, living in the country, loving Jesus, loving on people, and that's the song that's out today. So,
and this was just released a few weeks ago, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And
June
it's being
7th.
received pretty well?
It's being received pretty well.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of people reaching out, and a lot of a lot of great compliments and a lot of great comments, and I'm so thankful for it. So it's been beautiful.
Well, we're going to see I Was in just a moment, but really quick, Cam, is there any upcoming projects? Are you working on anything new right now? Because this was your debut song.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
What's next?
Actually, I really want to write a song about my dad because he has been, for the longest time in my life, my superhero. He is somebody, and I'm sure you can probably attest to the same thing, but our dads, I think, in our life are our superheroes, and they just seem to be able to do everything. Like everything that I ask him, I feel like he can't not do it. Everything that he does, I'm like, you're crazy. Like you are a superhero, literally. How do you do it? So I think writing a song about him and just how instrumental he's been in my life and how blessed I am that the Lord put a great dad in my life. So I think that's my next single song that I really want to start working on, and got a couple cool things with social media coming up. I want to start a podcast as well, and have a new merch line coming out in September. So yeah, we're super excited about it. It's going to go great.
How hopefully. Wonderful.
Yes,
well,
ma'am.
I will put how to keep up with Cam below. Cam, I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
and
you.
Make sure to stay tuned. After the break, we hear I Was. We're back in 2 minutes.